I haven't done one of these in a while, so I don't really remember how they go. Okay, I remember like very clearly how they go, but I just haven't done one in a while. Just as a warning, like we're starting to get into characters I don't play that much, so I have like a good knowledge of how they work based on like my own observations of how they play. But the chances of me not knowing something due to inexperience with the character or like thinking something's more viable than it is are like higher. So take everything in this video in this archive with a grain of salt because I'm not. I played a lot of Vega in Street Fighter 4, but I don't really like the changes they made to his gameplay in this game. I preferred him as a charge character. He had sort of a different tool set. He's not really like he's still good at poking compared to most characters in this game, but he didn't really have the poking dominance in this game that he'd had in 4. Um, let's see here. Where do I start? Movement? Claw actually has like the best movement in the game almost. It's like up there. He's got a really really quick forward walk speed and a really quick back walk speed. So he really jets around the screen, and he has a lot of movement based options. Like he can jump off the wall. I think he's got like movement based special moves that you can kind of use to move around to some degree. Um, he's gotten really quick dashes. So he's basically like he's pretty much top of the food chain when it comes to moving around the screen. I would say he's like top 3, maybe top 1 in terms of movement. His throw range is pretty normal. He does have an air throw, so that's nice. That's like a nice little tool he has. What else? Is there anything other wacky thing about like his movement? Remember that good walk speed also makes it so that your tick throw setups end up being strong. So it's important. Claw has like a good way to pressure with throws, which then makes his frame trap game kind of better. Claw's kind of a weird character because he's actually kind of got 2 separate characters built into the same character. You've got like this move that swaps your claw on and off, and when the claw is on, you have slightly different punch normals compared to when it's off. And certain other little things will change. For example, he's got one special move that's only available in claw mode and one special move that's only available with no claw. And then he's also got like certain damage changes, like his super does more damage when he's in the claw mode. A lot of things don't change damage. Like all his punch normals for the most part aren't too different. 60 versus 60, 90 versus 80. It depends. It's just 2 different styles. It's not that without the claw he's just outright weaker, but certain things will be outright weaker. Certain punch attacks and whatnot. Um, According to the strategy guide, he's objectively #1 in walk speed. I think Guile has really good walk speed too, though, right? Does that account for Guile? Um, do Claw normals have disjoint at the claw? I think they did in previous games, but I don't know if they do in this game. I don't know if you can safely poke and like not get counter poked. I will say his poke normals do seem to be really strong in Claw, but I can't verify that they're disjointed. Took a sip of water there. Let's just get on to his normals. Now that we've talked about the very basis of this character. There's a little bit of other stuff I'll talk about with the claw because there's a lot to say about the claw and taking the claw off, but I'll get to it when it becomes relevant for like his combos and whatnot. Let's see here. Light normals. His only 3-frame normal is the close short, or the short stand light kick. So that means if you want to go through 3-frame normal, if you want to start from like a 3 frames for like a 3-frame punish or a 4-frame punish for safety or whatever, standing light kick is the best, and it's also like kind of good to frame trap into for that reason, or like let's see here. It's +2 on block, which means it's pretty much the most plus frames light normally has, I think. Yeah, crouch light punch is also +2. So those are the 2 you want to frame trap with, and stand light kick comes out a little faster, but I think the pushback is a little bit different. And also it doesn't have the greatest frame advantage. It's only I think 4. And that means it can't link into a stand light punch, and linking into a stand light punch is something you want to do. I'll talk about it. His light normals are actually pretty interesting. From stand light kick, you can pretty much only link into crouch light punch, and then from there, you'd probably do like the light rolling flash, because that's like pretty for the most part. He's got very few combos from lights. Well, it depends. This light rolling crystal flash is always available in both claw stances, and then he's also got in the claw. I'll talk more about these when I'm talking about special moves, but he's also got this claw swipe that's only available when he has the claw on, and that one combos from lights, right? Maybe only send light punch. Maybe Um, yeah, I think you need Stand Light Punch to combo. Yeah. So probably Light, Rolling Crystal Flash, or EX, Wall Dive, or Super are your only combo options. You got metered options plus the Light Roll. The roll, ending combos in the roll is usually something you don't want to do, even though it's always available, just purely because it doesn't do that much damage and it doesn't knock over. So you use it when it's better than nothing, but if there are situations where you could use an EX move, Vega likes using EX to end his combos, or like using Super to end his combos situationally. That being said, Vega Super is pretty good, and his V-Trigger pretty much only exists to set up a Super and punish fireballs. Anyway, Stand Light Kick is your 3-frame normal. Stand Light Punch is, I think, 5, so it's pretty slow. Crouch Light Punch is 4, and it's +4, and Crouch Light Kick is, I think, 4, and it's +4 as well. Yeah. So if you want a low, use Crouch Light Kick, and that only links into Crouch Jab, which you then combo into the Light Roll. If you want a 3-frame normal, you got Stand Light Kick, which then only links into Crouch Jab, which then you probably go into a Light Roll. And then if you've got a situation where you're getting a 4-frame punish, or you're just like kind of like frame trapping with normals or something like that, if you've got some situation where you can use Crouch Jab, that one's +5, so you've got a little bit of extra link timing, so you can go into Stand Jab. And Stand Jab is really cool because it's got a little bit more frame advantage than his other moves. So you can do cancels that work that don't normally work. And the one I showed off just now is the medium Aurora Spin Edge. So that's like a much stronger combo than the other combos I showed, and it also cancels the super, whereas the roll, I think the roll does cancel the super, but you lose a lot of hits. You can't cancel the last hit, you have to cancel like the first one. Yeah, like that. So it ends up not doing very much damage. So like the roll by itself into the super was 324 for comparison. And this, I'm going to have a little bit of gut scaling, so it's not going to be 100% accurate. 389. You can see a pretty generous health damage increase from doing something like that. But the ability to convert is pretty nice too. Oh, does this work though? I like don't remember. Does he have a way of comboing into that? Because I know that combos from all light normals, but it seems like the pushback is usually an issue. He's got to use that like from just punishes, like -4 move, and then you just do like doesn't cancel. You have to link out of that -4 move, and you do something like that. I missed the cancel. Anyway, also there's some other combos you can do if you're Clawless. I'm pretty much going to talk about Clawless just entirely separately. I'll talk about everything in Claw, and then I'll swap over and talk about all the punch normals and differences in Clawless, and then I'll talk about like combos. Oh yeah, you can do EX, and that combos from anything, I think, doesn't it? Yeah, I should have mentioned that immediately. EX off the wall, I think, does the same damage though, so EX off the wall is probably better. That did 177. Fuck. What's with my combos? Still a good 3 hours before the tournament. Yeah, if you can end it in an EX, you'd end it in EX wall dive, probably. That seems like it'd usually be better. You can do, I think, multiple stand jabs too, if you want to. And there's a little bit of... Hold on, how does it work? It's because Crouch Medium Punch in Clawless is faster than Crouch Medium Punch in this mode. That's pretty much his light normals in a nutshell. They're fast, and the link options are kind of stiff and limited. Standing Medium Punch is one of his best pokes. I would say it's probably his best poke, in my opinion. Standing Medium Punch in Claw. It goes pretty far. It has 0 cancelability. You might be able to cancel it to V-Trigger. But like for the most part, it's just a standalone poke. You just purely use it to space out the opponent. But this goes really far compared to like most pokes in Street Fighter V. Like Ryu can't hit me from this range. Ryu doesn't represent a threat to me from this far out. Well, I don't to him either, but like here. Like Ryu, even with a sweep, I don't think will hit me from this range, and I can still hit him with like a stand medium punch. So like Vega, when he's fighting from this range, like right around here, he can threaten buttons at any time, and counter poke you out of whatever you're doing. And yeah, you can empty cancel into V-Trigger theoretically, and then like counter poke someone, and then go into super from that or whatever. Do whatever you want to do. But it's like a super solid poke. The medium punch is kind of the same deal. You can link into it from a few things. It's not super important to be able to link into it in Clawed mode. It's really important in Clawless mode, but this move doesn't cancel for Vega. It's still a good poke, but it doesn't cancel. So for the most part, linking into it is only good if you're going to cancel it to like V-trigger, or just to like pick up the most damage that you can. Like a lot of the time you can do like, maybe like for my counter hit, you can do like a stand jab and then just pick up the low strong link for extra damage. If you're like kind of far out. And it's a nice little like block string kind of thing. It's just hard to deal with. Yeah, stuff like that. And the one I did over there, that one. Stand medium punch is such a good normal. Holy cow, look at all those fucking +6, dude. Why is that fair? I think you can do some other stuff, right? EX? No, you just gotta use the EX off the wall. That works. Stand strong, you can link out of from very close. Let's see here. You can cancel low strong into V-trigger, which is occasionally useful after a, like, you know, a link into low strong. You can use that to set up a super. That his confirms in claw mode are kind of stiff. So, like, there's a lot of stuff that doesn't really work or works only in very specific situations. But you can link into this, and it does okay damage, and it helps space out the opponent really well, because it goes really far, farther than most pokes. And same deal with stand strong. Stand medium kick. I think this cancels, right? No. What is it about this move? 7 frames, +4. +4. Yeah, there you go. I honestly don't see Vegas hit that button very much at all, to be 100% honest. So I'm not really sure about its specifics. I can see it's plus enough to link out of. I can see that it's +2 on block, which is kind of good, but 7 frame startup is pretty bad. Not too sure about stand medium kick. Maybe just a poke as well. Don't see that one very often. Does anyone have anything to say about that? Talk about crouch medium kick. That button's actually pretty awesome. It's pretty much the same as it was in Street Fighter 4. It's a low poke. It goes pretty far. Not as far as the animation seems to indicate. Counter poke. Okay. On counter hit it would be +6, so you might be able to link into like crouch strong maybe? I don't know. It's going to be pretty far out. But on counter hit that would theoretically combo. Crouch forward is it's plus quite a lot. It's +5, I think. 6. +6. It's got to be +6 if it links into low strong. This means you can pretty much reaction confirm out of it, which is like it's available in both his stances, and the reaction confirms are pretty good. So it's really safe to just kind of start a combo out of, and then from that combo you can go into something like you pretty much got a combo out of lights with Claude Vega. But like something like that, for example, would be really common, or like something like that would be pretty common too. Comboing out of low forward into some stuff, and then I think if you get a counter hit, I think you can actually combo into Stand Fierce, which is pretty godlike. Yeah, that's like a link that he can do. But you start pushing yourself out quite a lot, so the Stand Fierce combos are kind of limited. I think that works. Yeah, you can get all that going. Fuck. There you go. An example of a completed combo with that counter hit. It's pretty easy to get links out of this normal on reaction, and it's pretty safe to throw out, and it's +2 on block. So I would say this is one of Vega's most spammable normals. There's like no downside for hitting this thing. And it goes pretty far for a low medium kick. Like most characters kind of had their low medium kick range nerfed, and that includes Vega. It went really far in Street Fighter 4. But it's still good for what it is. It's still really solid at the ranges where you can poke out with it. That being said, the further you hit it, the harder it is to actually combo out of. So you've got to consider that when you're using it. You can basically use it up close like a confirming tool, or out far away from like a poking tool. But it's still a really solid normal no matter how you're using it. And that's available in both Clawed and Clawless. All his kick normals are the same. At long range, you do crouch medium kick, counter hit, stand medium punch. Yeah, that's true, because it's +8. So that should still link if you're good with the timing and you hit on the first frame. There you go. Just got it. Stand hard punch is a pretty interesting normal. This is the normal that cancels, that has the most block stun and hit stun, which means that if you're going to cancel into a claw switch, which is something that Vega does like pretty often, this is the normal you want to cancel. And if you cancel it into claw switch, if you cancel, it's -2 +5. So you can already like link out of it, I think, in specific scenarios. Up close. Vega, please. There you go. There's your link. You can already link out of it, but you can get a little bit of extra damage linking out of it if you cancel into the claw swap. Anyway, it's -2/+5 on block and on hit if you don't cancel it, and if you do cancel it, it goes to -3/+5. But you've got better things to link into when you're clawless. You can link into Clawless Low Strong, which is like a really good combo tool. So starting in clawed and then going to clawless like usually leads to more damage. Let's just get like a damage value comparison right now. That's like your bread and butter ender if you don't claw swap. Is it actually -1 +4? I'm looking at V-frames here, but I don't. V-frames is occasionally wrong. I just linked it into stand jab, so that's a 5-frame normal, so it's at least +5. I can say with 100% certainty that it's +5. Because this is +4, and that doesn't link into stand jab, but it does link into crouch jab. So definitively, like, this is a 5-frame jab. And that's a link, so it's got to be +5. Anyway, stand fear, like, how much damage did I do? I, like, forgot. Fuck, Vega, work with me. There you go. I did 187, okay. Okay, keep in mind for that number. Oh, there you go. So you can see I added a pretty significant amount of damage. But that being said, if you just do stand hard punch into claw swap by itself, it goes to -3. So, I mean, it's not point blank, so a lot of characters can't do anything about that, but you do have to be kind of mindful, because it puts you in a worse scenario. If the opponent wants to, if you get blocked and the opponent wants to go for a counter poke. And maybe some characters do have a 3-frame normal that'll hit you in time, so you can't just go around doing it 100% mindlessly. Oh yeah, and he's got like a what do you call a target combo with that as well. Stand hard punch. If you do 2 of them, he's got like you can do hard punch as a target combo, and I think from that you might be able to do trigger. No, trigger's only clawless. But you can cancel into V skill, and the V skill has a little hit that adds on, and that does decent damage and also builds V meter. But I think that's a lot more unsafe on block. Yeah, it's -13 to just do 2, and canceling to the V trigger, I mean the V skill, will make it like as bad, I think. Where's the frame data on his V skill? It's -13 as well. So don't do that up close. You don't want to end in the second, and you don't want to end in the third. So that's pretty much limited to being a punish combo, and your other punish combos can be situationally better or worse. So I don't know. But stand hard punch is usually like the start of his kind of punish combos, because it's the most block stun he has on any attack. So for example, if I wanted to go into hard roll, my only starter for hard roll would be stand hard punch, and that one does knock down and does pretty nice damage. So like that would be a pretty common punish for Vega players in claw mode, if they wanted to stay in claw mode. Yeah, I know you can just like do the V skill without that extra hit, but it's also really minus, so situationally not good to go for. Anyway, stand hard punch. I've got a little bit more to say about it, but it's mostly useful as like a combo tool, as like a punish starter and whatnot. Claw, stand hard punch is like your strongest punish starter for the most part with this character. His damage is kind of low though. Stand hard kick is a pretty good anti-air. I think you can do some cool links out of it as well. It's +4, so you can do like not that, probably crouch jab, and then probably into like something like that. I don't know. I feel like there's a better option than that. That doesn't feel accurate. I think there's some neat things you can do. It's his crush counter starter, so you use it a lot for your crush counter punishes, and then you get really nice stuff if you get a crush counter with it. On crush counter, you can link it to anything pretty much. So like stand hard kick into stand hard punch is really common, and it leaves you really close to the opponent, so you don't really have to do the extra movement, the extra walking in, although you can. But like you can do, like that's really common after you block a shore. You can do it to do a combo like my execution is not too hot. Something like that would be really common for Vega on a crush counter punish. That one's like a fairly innocent little combo, or like you know, something like that would be fairly common. That does pretty good damage. It's pretty low for a crush counter, but you know. I think it doesn't hit crouching opponents at all. I was going to say that. So you can't just use it willy-nilly as a poke. So it's mostly useful for punishing. And even then, a lot of your other punishes can do as much damage. Like, I think you can get double crush counter. You can do double fierces and crush counter. I think for Vega. Is that right? What's his... I think it's in Clawless you can do double crush counter punishes. Yeah, like that. So, like, if he's got other stuff, depending on whether you're clawed or clawless. Something like that. That ends up doing quite a lot of damage as well. So you wouldn't necessarily go for the... I think you would go for hard kick anyway, because that also builds a half stock of E-meter, which is really useful. But Vega has some other options that are actually competitive with his crush counter punishes, so I'll talk a bit more about those when I get to them. But mostly just a crush counter punish and also an anti-air. I didn't really show this off yet, but it's a decent anti-air. It's not his best one, and he doesn't really have a good anti-air anyway. But from afar away, it's pretty reliable, and also you can get crush counters with it, which is pretty cool. And I think after that you can get like an EX spin edge. I don't remember what you get there. You can get super for sure, but I don't remember what else. I just did a medium spin edge and it just worked. It depends on the range in which you connect to. There was an EX one. Gotta let him fall a bit. That probably works from farther out than when I got it, but that was probably too far out. You may be able to get a sweep too, right? I don't know, actually. Yeah, that worked. Can you get V-skill off that? I don't know. V-skill is pretty slow. Yep, it worked. That's probably pretty consistent if you get it really high up, because V-skill goes really far, so you pretty much don't have to pay mind to the range. There you go. That looks okay, as long as you get it on a high connect. And then you can juggle super as well, I'm pretty sure of that one. But this is all just me getting it on counter hits, so I haven't even showed off that it's a good anti-air yet, even though I've got Ryu hitting the button pretty early. This mostly works as a good anti-air because it's really, really tall. It's not that good up close. It kind of moves forward before it attacks, so if they go under you, it's not that good. No reason to do what you showed in a crush counter. Much higher damage as possible. Tell us. Tell us your crush counter combos. I'm actually really curious. I'm not veining Vega, but you can like say what you want. Like pretty much no one in the Vega B&B video has like listed any sort of optimal combos that I didn't list in the video. So like I don't know. I don't really see people go for like much higher damage than what I'm talking about. I don't really see Vegas go for combo. I don't really see Vegas. What was I gonna say here? It's good anti-air. Okay, take my word for it. Let me see if I can get him to just. Let me see if I can get it to clean anti-air instead of getting the counter hit. You have to do it kind of early. I traded. Yeah, if I wait much longer, I'm risking trading. So I wouldn't do it this late anyway. But like, theoretically, Ryu can get his attack out fully and you can still clean win with stand hard kick. It's like a pretty good anti-air normal, but again, it only works from really far out. Or not really far out, but like here to like here. It's like the range where it's effective. And that's good because like he doesn't really have another good anti-air from like this far out. So stand hard kick is like a super solid one. But you'd rather go for like crouch fierce or other stuff like that. But even then his anti-airs are really shrugged no matter how you do it. What now? Crouch hard punch. This button is it was a crush counter in the beta. Now it's just sort of a... I don't really see people use it except as an anti-air. And it's probably his best anti-air. I would tentatively say it's his best one. It was like a joke anti-air in Street Fighter 4. But in this game, he actually has... His two crouch hard punches are very, very similar. But they actually have slightly different functions. The clawed anti-air seems to go slightly farther forward. And the clawless anti-air, clawless crouch fierce, seems to go slightly higher up. Stand hard kick, stand hard punch, clawless, stand light punch, crutch, medium punch, EX wall dive, V trigger ender. That's a super metered combo. I was trying to keep it meterless. Stand light punch I don't think adds damage. It might. I need to test it right now. Let's actually like just like look right now. Fuck. I was already in clawless. That's the one I did. 298. And the one you're describing is... Fuck. That might not even combo, actually. Fuck, I'm bad. I don't have this in muscle memory. I hit the wrong button. Alright. No, that comboed. 306. That actually did add damage. So the stand jab in there adds a little bit. I do agree with using meter pretty much any time that you can use meter with Vega. Like, I agree with that. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that's a bad combo you just listed. But it's pretty much just a variation of the combo I literally did. What was I talking about? Crouch hard punch. Anyway, let's get Ryu jumping just to show off that it actually works and functions as an A-tier. Alright, I did it nice and late. Ryu actually got his attack out because I didn't get a counter hit, and it still clean beat it. Ryu, like, this clean beats jump-ins. The range at which it works is pretty far, and it also works decently above his head. I hit it kind of early. Oh fuck, I still hit it early. It's kind of precise to time. It has not that many active frames, and it's also kind of slow. So you've gotta be good about your timings. But it does work from pretty far out, which is nice. Like, this is an anti-air. Like, that's pretty good range to still be able to anti-air the opponent. The problem is when you're anti-airing close with it. Like, I'm gonna try and stay pretty close to Ryu and get an anti-air like this from like a range like this. See, this is where it starts falling apart, because this is a range where people still jump in. He would still land on the front of me if he jumped in right now. But if I crouch fierced, he would go over my head, so that's kind of an ugly little situation. Stand hard kick, stand light punch, crouch, medium punch, EX wall dive, claw version. Oh. Okay. How do you do... Oh, okay, I'm with it. When you say EX, claw dive, wall dive, claw version, you're talking about just the punch follow-up. Where was I? Fuck. It's not super good if the opponent's close to him, so oftentimes if the opponent's close to him, he's got to go for other anti-airs. Like, this is like the furthest... This is like the closest where it still works. And the other one, I'll show it off when I get to it, but it's better at anti-airing from this close, the Clawless crouch hard punch. Like, this is a really inconsistent range for Vega. He can anti-air with light kick from this range. It's really shitty, not very reliable. I just missed it right there, RIP claw. I'll talk about removing the claw in a second, or like getting the claw knocked off. He can, that was it. That was like me doing jumping, that was me using standing a kick. But the active frames to actually get that working, it's really hard to actually anti-air with that. I would say it's like pretty inconsistent. It's like pretty bad. The most success I've had as Vega anti-airing from this close is like an air throw. It's like a really easy anti-air to do from this close that does pretty good damage and helps you like get the screen back and stuff like that. It's like the opponent can't hit air normals that early, or else they're risking not being able to hit you on the ground if you just stay crouching. And it's fairly easy. It looks kind of weird, but it's fairly easy to just jump in there, throw on reaction to a jump from that range. And you can also use air normals too. I've had good success with jump back jab. Jump back strong can go over their heads depending on the range and the timing, so it can be kind of inconsistent, but it does more damage. Jump medium kick works too, but again, these are all a little bit slower, and speed is everything here. So air throw is your best because it's like your fastest air option, and jump jab as well. I would say those are like the two best ones, but like it's pretty consistent to be able to get out of close anti-airs like that. But Vega has to do that from abnormally close compared to most characters. Like, most characters can still anti-air from like this far out, but Vega has like a lot of trouble anti-airing from this far out. So you've got to kind of rely on your air-to-airs more so than your anti-airs, which is a little problem for Vega's ability to control the ground. But it's like balanced by the fact that control the air. It's balanced by the fact that his ground control is pretty good. Let's see here. Crouch hard punch. That's pretty much all I gotta say. There's like a little other stuff with it. I think in Clawless mode that I'll talk about. I think you can use it for combos to some degree. Crouch hard kick, there's not a whole lot to say. It goes really far. It's a sliding sweep. From max range, it can be made... I'm not going to say safe, because I think it's always minus no matter how you space it. But it can be made almost safe. So like it'll be punishable. I mean, it won't be punishable, but it'll be like minus from like the max ranges where you can hit it. It's a crush counter. If you get the crush counter with it, it's a hard knockdown, same as every other sweep in the game. It's really good to get like a punish from like really far out for like certain attacks. Like every character pretty much relies on their sweep from punishes from a certain range. Vega less so because he's got other far range attacks, but like if you block something that recovers kind of far away, like some supers, like Rashid, Talons, whatever you call that move, Eagle Claw, Eagle Spike, you can just like this is always in range basically if you're like going for a punish attack. It's not super fast. It's pretty It's fast for a sweep, but it's not like crazy fast for a sweep. It's 9 frames, but it's really fast for the range at which it moves. And it's also useful in a few of his crush counter combos. Like I've got this command normal right here I'm about to talk about, where if you get a kind of far connect with it, it's really hard to link any sort of meaningful thing from like the ranges where you can land it. But sweep pretty much always works, unless you're like really far away. At best, you're -5. Wow. Never safe. Max range keeps you far out. Thanks, Kihara. Always dropping the useful knowledge. Active frames 9, -13. That sounds about right. Does the slide go under fireballs? No. If only. Vega has pretty much 2 other options to deal with fireballs. I don't know, he's got a few things. I'll show off fireballs in a minute. It does hit really far really fast though, so you can like counter hit fireballs to some degree, but again, if you're using it in footsies, you're kind of asking for trouble. But it's like a really far attack. Theoretically, I guess you could make it safe with like a V-trigger, but like why would you? But the V-trigger's only -2, and that's like a true block string. So, you know, it can be a safe slide, but you wouldn't do that. That's pretty much all his grounded normals, his regular ones. He's got a couple unique attacks. You've got the towards medium kick. This is an overhead. It has really nice range for an overhead, but there's like no way to make it anything but an overhead. It's got 3 active frames. It's -4, so if you do it meaty, you can have it be only -2, which is better. So if you do it meaty, you know, if you can get it like on the deep frames, you should. But you can use it from so far out that it's pretty much unpunishable anyway. Like even if someone blocks that, like what light normals are going to go this far in 4 frames? Not that many. Very few, if any. So like this is, if you space it right, it's pretty much safe. Even if it's blocked. It's pretty slow. It's like a pretty slow overhead. It's 22 frame startup, which is like, it's like the slowest they ever make an overhead. I don't remember if it actually hops or if it just like looks like it hops. I don't know if you can go over lows with this. I don't think you can. I would definitely say his Street Fighter 4 overhead was like a lot better, but you know, things have changed. He's got another command normal. This one's actually claw only. You can't do this one. No, you can always do the overhead. The overhead's in both versions. But this one is this one's claw only. It's towards hard punch. This one is like his furthest poke, like outright his furthest poke. The only thing that comes closest is V skill. And that doesn't even go as far as towards Fierce does. So it goes super far, which means it can really be used to bully the opponent. It's got pretty bad frame data. It's 13 frame startup, which is good for the range it has, and then it's -14 on block. So -14, it's a lot. It's a whole lot. Like Laura, I think her EX elbow, I'm pretty sure is faster than that. So like if I was Laura and I blocked this attack, I could literally do reversal EX elbow and punish Vega. Like that's how minus it is. It's pretty much like Nash towards hard punch. It's pretty much like the same attack. A lot of characters will just have something where they can just reversal punish it if they've got good like how do I say? Like for example, Vega, if he blocked it, this move is 13 frame startup and -14. So if I blocked it, if I blocked another Vega doing that attack, I could punish it with my own, for example. Yeah, -14 sounds like a lot, but you're really far from the enemy, so a lot of characters can't really do anything about it. If you're like poking from max range with this attack, which is, you know, pretty spammable, a lot of characters can't do anything. It does have a lot of active frames. It has like a really long duration. Well, it doesn't have a whole lot of active frames, so it has a really long duration, okay? So like if you do this, if you're just poking out with this and then someone decides to jump in, they can get a jump in the time it takes for this thing. Like you won't be able to block in time. You can't like react to the jump in and block if they jump just as you're poking with it. So like that's a really big downside for it, especially because Vega's anti-airs aren't so hot. Yeah, I think Kami can like drill it. It's only -5 on hit, so pretty much no one can punish -5 from this far out. The only one I can even think of is like Laura Super, goes like half screen and it's 4 frames. So you might from like here, you might be able to eat it and then do a reversal Laura Super and grab him. But he recovers pretty far away, so I don't know. Most characters can't punish this, and part of being a good Vega player is like knowing which characters can, which characters can't, and it becomes a pretty good poke if they can't punish it. But you should be aware of the ones where they can punish it, and then just not use it in those matchups. And it is a crush counter, as I showed off a little second ago. And if you do get the crush counter, there are a couple things you can do. One, if you don't quite have the V meter yet, you can do a dead OS cancel from your crush counter. So like if you have like 1 V meter and then like half or more of the second one, then the only possible way you can get the last bit of B meter is if you get the crush counter, so then you can like do an empty cancel like that. Your general combos are sweep is really common, and I think you can do another towards Fierce, right? I'm like fairly sure that works. There's a V skill. I don't remember. The recovery, no other towards Fierce. The recovery is really deceptive. I usually see people use sweep. I remember there's some other thing you can do. Is it that? Is it this? No. Oh, there's definitely two things to do here, but I don't remember what the other one is. Sweep is the common one. Is it just V skill? I guess it's just V skill. Or like super. I think even from max range you can get a super, so that's kind of a big deal. Ugh. Why have I not turned that off yet? That didn't combo. So not from max range. Not even from that range. My plus 12 on crush counter. Yeah, you have to be pretty close to get the super follow-up. That's like a range where you won't even be getting it at max range. From max range, the sweep doesn't even work. So you've got to be really aware of the ranges at which you're spacing it. I mean, it's still good to get the crush counter. I think it's only V-trigger. I think that's it. I think it's just V-trigger I was thinking of. From max range, you can pretty much... You might have to cancel... Yeah, that's it. That's it. I remember. You just have to cancel it. But you can react. You can just do like towards Fierce, and then if you see the counter hit, you can react with V-trigger cancel. That's it. That's the follow-up. That's the only follow-up that works from like this far away. And then you can get super from that. It's that or it's sweep. And you've got to be at least like kind of close to get sweep. So it's really important to learn the ranges where sweep is a viable follow-up. See, that was like just too far. This will be close enough. Not even regular hit cancel into V-trigger, because regular hit doesn't auto-confirm it. I was thinking about crush counter connect into V-trigger cancel, and just react to the crush counter. Okay, let's talk about the Clawless normals, because they're a little bit different. Only for the punches. Whoop. Let me get a sip of water real fast. Alright, Send Light Punch in Clawless is supposedly 3 frames, according to this thing I'm looking at right now. And it's also supposedly +3, and both of those are really, really good for a light normal. So, let's try it right now. What was the 3-frame thing? This is +4. Do I have anything that's +3? I can't, like, test to see. Yeah, nothing +3 here. Send Light Punch is really fast anyway. And also it goes pretty far. I don't think it goes quite as far as his... It's like either the same range or just below the range of his Sand Light Punch in Clawless. It might actually go farther. Nah, it looks like it goes a little bit less far. Because that looks like higher pushback. Could just be me. It looks like higher pushback. Anyway, this comes out really fast and it's +5, which means you can do cool links like that. I'll talk about that one like a lot because that one's super useful and fundamental for this character. Stuff like that. 3 frames is really, really far, so you can link it to it very easily. I mean, 3 frames, that's really, really far. So you can link it to it really easily, and then you can link out of it really easily. And it's +5, and you've got this low strong, it's 5-frame startup in Clawless mode. So you can basically get like much better... Alright, you have to use EX for that one. You can basically get much better light confirms in Clawless. Basically, the way that the Clawed and Clawless work, it's not always true, but as a rough idea, the Clawed Vega has better footsies, and the Clawless Vega has better frame advantage and combos. Vaguely. That's like not always true, and it kind of depends, and there's actually a lot of combos that swap between them. I would say, tentatively, it depends on the matchup, but I would tentatively say the Clawless Vega is usually better, and a lot of Vega players will just go into Clawless mode at the start of the match, and then just stay in Clawless mode. So, like, that should pretty much speak for itself on a lot of people just like Clawless Vega and prefer it as a character. A lot of his optimal combos will frequently swap between Clawed and Clawless, so if you're just going for your combos, like, there's a good chance you're going to be using both versions of Vega anyway. But I wouldn't necessarily say to stay in Clawless, but Clawless is different. I wouldn't really say it has a different playstyle. It kind of does. The things you go for are different. The ranges where you're effective are a bit different. You don't have the same range control, but you've got other things that make you kind of better up close. So I would tentatively say playing at a range with Claw and playing up close with Clawless are like. But when I say up close, I'm not meaning touching. I'm just meaning like here is the range where like Clawless starts being really good, which is a bit better. It's a bit closer than the effective ranges of Claw. And yeah, I think Clawless is a little better at burning meter. It's a little bit more like it's a lot more combo friendly. Anyway, you can link it to low strong from that, and there are some combos where you can get like pretty good damage off of lows because of that. Off of like close light kick, for example. Again, that's like a 3-frame normal. You can just use that as a 3-frame normal. You don't have your medium claw spin anymore, the Aurora spin edge. So you've got to go into other stuff. You've basically got to go into roll. But that's like a I just dropped it. But that's like a common hit confirm in Clawless. Why is training mode being streamed? Crouch Light Punch is 4 frames plus 4. If I'm not 100% mistaken, this is like pretty much the same as Crouch Light Punch in Claw. It's like really similar. 4 frame startup plus 4. I think the pushback might be a little bit different. It's like basically the same move. It's only plus 4 on hit. I think it was plus 5 on hit for Claw mode. So it's technically speaking a little bit worse. The pushback is better, and it like combos into itself a little bit better because it has a more pleasing angle. So the range is actually better, but you lose a plus frame, and that plus frame would be nice now that you actually have a good 5-frame normal that cancels. I don't have that much to say about Crouch Light Punch. Stand Light Punch is really the more interesting of the two. Stand Medium Punch is sick. Stand Medium Punch in Claw mode, in Clawless mode, is actually like a super good normal. It doesn't control space the way that Clawed Stand Medium Punch works, not at all. But it's got some really nice things about it. One, instead of 8 frames, it's actually 6 frames, which means you can link out to it. You can link it to it from various things, which is actually super, super useful. And then it has a target combo associated with it. And from that target combo, you can do your V-skill. So you can use that as your ender to get a little bit of E-meter, which is pretty good. Decently common from Vega players. But unlike the other one, this V-skill, I mean, this V-skill can actually be replaced by special moves, because this is actually a special cancelable target combo. And most of your special cancels won't do anything. But there are 2 really notable ones that are really good. One of them is EX Wall Dive, which pretty much works fully. So this is like really common from Vega players. That's like a really good place to burn 1 bar if you want to. I would say that's like a pretty common combo from Vega players to do something like that. You can like confirm into that pretty easily, and it ends up doing pretty nice damage. And then you can also cancel it into V-Trigger, which is quite common, because that doesn't use the meter that I would have had to use on like 1 bar. And that sets up super. So that's like really common as well. But like pretty much those are the main follow-ups there, because I don't think a whole lot of other stuff works. Just because of the launching state. None of the rolls work, I think. Yeah. Oh, you can juggle super as well if you want to. If you don't have the 1 bar to... If you don't have the V-trigger to spend and you want to land super like that, that's like your only way of doing it. That's your way of converting super from that tower combo. I'm glad that I remembered to mention super. So that's like a good combo to link into, and it's a good combo to link out of. No Vega guide. A lot of people have been asking for this one. I did a Vega guide for Street Fighter 4. Stand Hard Punch is basically an entirely different move in this stance. It works like a combo starter still. It's still the most plus frames cancel you have, so you can still do stuff like Stand Hard Punch into... Well, actually, I think you can cancel Crouch Fierce, right? And I think that does a little bit more damage. 90 versus 80? No, a little bit less damage. So this is still like the strongest cancel you have, and very common for cancels. You can cancel with the Claw Swap, but it's not quite as frame advantage as this Clawed one. So it's only plus 4 when you stance cancel it. So if you do Stand Hard Punch into Claw, you pretty much have to link into... oh, never mind, it's plus 5. It's just wrong. This thing is just wrong. Stand Hard Punch, Claw Off says -1 plus 4 when canceled to stance change, but I just linked the 5-frame normal. Alright, that's what I thought. I thought that was kind of screwy. Anyway, Stand Light Punch into medium Roar Screw Edge. It's like the bread and butter. That's the one you see a lot. But then you can also go into EX Aurora Screw Edge, or more commonly EX off the wall, EX Flying Barcelona attack, and that ends up doing pretty nice damage. So that's like a really common converter. But it's kind of weird that if you're in Claw, you link into a medium normal, and if you're out of Claw, you link into a light normal. That's something you've got to be really careful about when you're playing Vega. You've got to remember your combo options are different depending on whether you're going from Clawed to Clawless or Clawless to Clawed. Let's see. Especially the low strong that you would link into, this is a 6-frame low strong, and this is a 5-frame low strong, and you're +5 after both of them. I think it's safer to go from Clawless to Claw too, if you do like the cancel. I think this is harder to punish. Yep, on block. What else about Stand Hard Punch? I feel like there's some other stuff. It's 9 frames, which means you basically can't link into it, even on counter hit. It's a bit slower than the other one. The other one's faster and you have more plus frames. What is it? Send Light Punch whiffs over crouching opponents. Is that true? Did I misremember this? Well, you can react, so it's not a huge deal. Let's check it out. Yeah, look at that. You just gotta react to which one it is. Oh, is that it? Is that it? No, that's not it. God, I got all excited that that was the combo I was remembering. Because this forces stand. But it's too slow to link the, anything. If you see that your opponent's crouching, you've got to modify your combo to be like a crouch jab into EX wall dive, I think. No, I'm not even sure if EX wall dive will combo there. Let me get a quick idea of what your combo options are. It might have to be EX Aurora Spin Edge. It might have to be EX Aurora Spin Edge. Yeah. That's probably a combo option if you see the opponent's crouching. That's reactable, but it's like an additional thing you have to worry about. This is more often used in punish combos though, so like you wouldn't really worry about the opponent crouching 90% of the time. You can link stand light kick. Yeah, but why would you? No, Bath Cup hasn't started yet. I'm bad. Are you sure that links? Because that feels pretty good, my timing. And I'm not getting a link. There's a guy coming in and acting like he's an authoritarian about this character. Authority about this character. I'm pretty sure that doesn't work, dude. It might work if you don't claw swap. No, it doesn't seem like it works either. No, it's not. It's just not +3. Don't do that. Anyway, the most often time that you'll see like the stand hard punch into claw swap, you'll be seeing it like after like a crush counter, stand hard kick, or like, you know, after some punish scenario, because that's usually something you do during punishes. So stand light punch into medium Aurora's Edge is like the common ender. But then if you've got a crouching opponent and you react, if you're using it just like a confirm, if you're using it like that, you've got to go for, I think literally your only combo option is crouch light punch into EX Ace, or just like crouch light punch if you don't have the meter to burn. His combos are really stiff on a crouching opponent like that. I'm glad that you brought that up. That's actually really important that he can't combo out crouching opponents, but because you usually use it as a punish, that's usually not a big deal. Crouch hard punch, I already mentioned it, but crouch hard punch in this mode is a good anti-air. It's actually probably his best anti-air by far. It works from closer than his other one does. Like, it's taller. It's more over his head. So there are ranges where you wouldn't be able to anti-air with the other one where this one works, but it's still, like, it's still not good up close. I did it really early. This is, like, the closest that you can anti-air with it, which is still pretty far away. Let's see here. Ugh, not even there. I thought that worked. I've had really good success with it in terms of consistency with normals. But consistency at ranges is just a place where it falls apart. It's definitely taller than the other one. It's like, it's not as far either. It's like definitively taller and not as far. It's really easy to anti-air with this, but the ranges where it works are just like the opponent isn't usually going to be jumping out from this far. That was about as close as I can probably get it. That was like this far away, right? Give or take. Hard to recreate. He moves so far forward when you do it. That's the problem. There you go. That's like the closest where it works. So if it's further than that, if it's closer than that, you've got to like jump air throw. I don't have that much to say about crouching hard punch. It does cancel him. I feel like there is at least one scenario where that's useful, but I can't think of what it is. I'm pretty sure there's some situation where canceling it is good. It's -2 on block, +0 on hit. So I can't think of any sort of linking scenario where you ever use it. I didn't talk about his air normals. Oh, he has one. Does he have? No, he doesn't have a command normal in this mode, does he? I don't think so. Or he's only got the command normal he always has. Yeah, he's just got the different target combo. You lose the stun hard punch target combo. That's important. I like kind of said that, but kind of didn't. That's a claw only one. You get this, but you lose this when you're clawless. Excuse me. Let's talk about air normals. His jump light kick is a cross up, kind of cool. Vega likes cross ups. He didn't get a cross up until Ultra in Street Fighter 4. Not cutting his like off the wall bullshit. So it does help him kind of control space a little bit better. It kind of helps him escape the corner a little bit too. It depends on how willing your opponent is to let you jump in like this. But from up close, it can kind of let you. It's just a nice little thing to have to be able to force the opponent to enter block stun or hit stun rather than just like being able to throw you as you land or something like that. And you can combo it with various things, but it's too slow to be able to combo into most stuff. I think from really deep you can get it to link into low medium kick, but it's like insanely precise. So like for the most part, that combo's not really something that's readily available. I think you have to get it like super deep, or it might just not work at all. Anyway, you're usually limited to linking into lights. That's what I'm trying to say here. There, I got it. So I would probably say something like that would be common. Fuck, if I had good link timing. And again, well, people aren't usually going to be crouch blocking your jump in, so that's usually not an issue, but I would say tentatively that crouch jabs are better, more consistent. I would say this is your go-to. That's like a really common one. This is the one I usually see Vegas do. There's no thing that the opponent can do to upset this, and that's like your little completion if you see that you're hitting and not being blocked. And you remember in beta when that roll was safe? Jump medium kick goes really far out. I think it's pretty good air to air. If you see the opponent's jumping in, if you're like jumping and the opponent's jumping. That goes like maybe the farthest or close to the farthest of all his air normals. Jump hard kick goes really far down, and so does jump hard punch. I would say they're pretty interchangeable. In Street Fighter 4, the jump hard punch had a claw, which made it kind of disjointed from his body, so it would beat some attacks that like you couldn't normally. Oh yeah, that's pretty good. That depends. That's like an extra plus frame, so that's like good too. Technically speaking, that can be converted into a throw more easily. So yeah, send light punches. I mean, send light kick is good. Yeah, that push out though. I think I prefer that crouch jab. I don't know, it depends. Depends on your needs and what you're used to. If you're going for frame trap, staying short is a little bit better. If you're going for walk-in throw, crouch jab is probably a little bit better. Anyway, jump roundhouse and jump fierce are pretty much interchangeable. You can use whichever one you want. It could be that jump hard punch is better against anti-air normals because it was in Street Fighter 4. So I would like say that jump hard punch is probably a smidge better if you're clawed. And they both have really similar reach, so that's usually not an issue. Jump hard kick goes a little further out, but I think they go about as far down. And when you're connecting from that far out anyway, you have really limited combo options, so you probably won't be jumping from ranges like that. Jump medium punch, I guess, is good in air-to-airs. I don't know. This is like a normal that I wouldn't ever use. You might be able to use it against other Vegas who are doing like off the walls or something like that, but Vega already has like the highest jump in the game. And then like hitting above your head is like, I don't know what that's for. This is like a normal where they were just like, well, he doesn't have an attack that hits at this angle, but they didn't think about whether he needed an attack that hit at this angle. But again, it is good if they're jumping from really close, you can do like that, and that's a situation where we'll be hitting the button early, so they'll already be over your head. So like, that's a scenario where the opponent will be higher up than you, that you could use it. That's pretty common for Vega, and fills a hole that he sucks in. So I'm not going to say this button's useless, because it is a good close air-to-air, and it could be used for like wall dives or shit like that. Stomps from Bison, there you go, that's a good example. But it's mostly just like kind of a joke normal, but like situationally it's kind of good. Jump jab is just really fast, and so is jump short. So you can use both of those as a preemptive anti-air, like that. But jump jab has a better angle for it, so you'd probably use jump jab more in that kind of scenario, and you'd probably use jump short more just for cross-ups and stuff. But he has an air throw, so like that's usually better as a preemptive anti-air. Those are like pretty much his air normals. He doesn't have like an air special move or anything. He does have an air B trigger, which I'll talk about when I talk about B trigger. Forgot you can only do that on forward jumps. What now? Special moves, I guess. I've talked about pretty much all his normals. Let me take another sip of this water. Alright, I've already talked a decent amount about all of them. As a general rule, Claw, Roll. Let's talk about Rolling Crystal Flash, because that's like the first one. It's not called Rolling Crystal Flash in this game, is it? It like has a different name. Let's just get a look at it. Crimson Terror. As a general rule, the light one combos from light normals, the medium one combos from medium normals, and the hard one combos from hard normals. That being said, Claw Vega has literally no cancelable medium normals, so you'll pretty much only be using the light one or the hard one as Claw Vega. That being said, if you're Claw Vega and you do a stance cancel, you'll be going into the medium one. It's really common as Vega to do like I showed a couple of these off. If you're doing like a light confirm, it's really common to end in the light one. And oh yeah, I forgot about that. You can ATR with it. It's like super weird, isn't it? Hold on, let me see this. I want to see it in action. It's like a lot taller than it looks. Yeah, look at that. That actually beat his attack clean. I think this only works from really far out though. Or like rather, I don't think it works from close, which is where he already needs like another anti-air. It doesn't do that much damage like Rolling Crystal Flash, but like it's really notable that it works. Connects properly. That's super interesting. I only did 80 damage for the entire thing to connect, which is literally less than Crutch Fierce with Claw. Actually, it's the same amount. Anyway, that is a neat little thing that it does. Oh yeah, it does turn to super too. You can just anti-air with hard. No, that's not a super good. I guess that is a really good confirm into super. I guess that isn't really like that isn't really outclassed by anything else. So I've got to say that's actually decent. That's actually something you would use. Is anti-air light Rolling Crystal Flash into super, because super by itself doesn't anti-air, so you have to cancel it from something. And the only things you've got besides that are like the hard Claw Slash, which is kind of hard to use as an anti-air, probably harder than the light Rolling Crystal Flash is, albeit stronger. So I would say that's good. Anyway, confirming in light's pretty much the only things you can go into in Clawless mode is the light Crystal Flash, or you've got to link into like the medium one, but the links into the medium one are kind of stiff, which I just missed. And then you can also go into the medium Claw Slash on standing opponents. So you would do that, but if you didn't know you're gonna have a standing opponent or not, you'd usually go into light Rolling Crystal Flash. And then you've got a lot of links where you can only link into Crouch Jab, and Crouch Jab only goes into light Rolling Crystal Flash. So that's like a really common combo. And Rolling Crystal Flash can be cancelled on any of its rolling hits into super, but you're losing the last hit, which is pretty strong, and the rolling hits are all pretty weak. It's like 20 per hit. So it's preferred that you don't use this as your super cancel if you have other options, but it does super cancel and you can confirm super pretty easily with it. I shouldn't say you can confirm super because all versions of Rolling Crystal Flash are unsafe. Let's actually get some frame data. Okay, where the fuck is this thing? Crimson Terror. -6 for light, -7 for medium, -8 for hard. It does recover kind of far away, so it is a bit weird to punish. Never mind. I think rather it can be spaced. But don't do this raw. That's like my fucking summation. That would be kind of weird to punish at -6. Well, Ryu could just do Crouch Medium Kick. I don't know if that would punish. I think it would. Don't do this raw, okay? Just don't do it raw. EX is great. EX is -2. EX you can just do whenever. I was going to talk about EX in a second. EX is about as fast as the medium one, but also it goes a lot farther in the same startup. So situations where the medium one should work but doesn't because the range is a limiting factor, the EX one will work. A really good example of that is this combo. But medium should combo there, but it doesn't because it doesn't go far enough. Even though like the low strong like should combo into medium roll, it just doesn't get there in time. But if you use medium, if you use EX, the EX actually moves like a greater distance than the same startup. So even from max range, low strong, you can still usually link an EX roll. So combos like that, where the medium like should work but doesn't, you can still get EX. So EX is pretty nice. Vega has good EX all around, and that's a pretty nice little combo to go for. You wouldn't do that combo if you could help it, because you've got better things you can link into. Like I think EX Claw Dive might even work there. Actually, it might not, because you're really far away. Well, that works even on crouching opponents. Yeah, that still worked. That wouldn't work on crouching opponents. EX roll is very rarely the best thing you can do, but it's very rarely a bad idea, if that makes any sense. Anyway, after lights, the light roll is very common. After links into clawed low medium punch, clawless low medium punch, the medium roll is very common. And after, you usually don't see hard roll that much at all, but the only times where you can really practically use hard roll are just like raw cancel, send hard punch at the hard roll, which is not a terrible thing to go for if you're like, let's look at these right now. Like, let's say I have a punish opportunity that's not a crush counter punish opportunity as Clawless Vega. Like, what is my option to use no meter? Okay, we got a punish opportunity, we don't have any bar, and we've got a Clawless Vega on the screen. Okay, let's imagine this theoretical scenario. If I did something like this, that's okay. That is nice damage, 197. It puts me in claw, which is something I don't necessarily want. If I just did this by itself, just raw, that's 198, and it has really good corner carry, and it's also a lot easier to do. So like that for Clawless, that like rivals his claw swap combos. So it's very common to see that, but it's basically just like a baby mode punish. But it does have really nice corner carry, so it's not useless. And it can be like situationally like as good as his other options. Yeah, his claw, actually that's actually, he's got a different, I'll mention that, he's got a different way of losing his claw, and that's actually really important to his gameplay, because that Clawless Vega, claw knocked off Vega is actually the best Vega, and I'll talk about why. I don't have that much to say about roll. I've already said pretty much everything I can say. You confirm into it, it's really unsafe, it does nice damage, it has nice corner carry. You can super cancel any hit, except the last one, which is the one that you really wish you could. I can't think of anything else to say. The light one is really fast, it's 8 frames. So situationally you can actually link into that instead of like canceling into it. Not that you would, but you can. Oh yeah, the medium one is +2 on block, on hit. So landing the medium one, +2, it's kind of hard to make +2 do anything when you're this far away. Basically, if I hit a normal, it'll beat what normal the opponent hits, but most people won't hit a normal here, and you're not threatening a throw. So like the fact that it's +2 is not super important, but it's just kind of nice that they can't get any sort of counter pressure on you. And no one's going to be DPing from this range, I don't think, or that would be extremely strange. The light one's 0, and that leaves you at kind of a similar range. This range is very deliberate. They wanted to make sure that you couldn't get like a command grab as Vega from like a range like this. They wanted to make sure you weren't pushing a mix-up. What's the next special move I should talk about? Flying Barcelona, maybe? I've got like a lot to say about that one. We'll talk about that one last. I've been talking about Switch Claw a lot. I'll talk about that one last. That's like the best one to talk about last. Claw Edge. So you've got this move. You've got 3 different arcs. The light one is pretty safe. I don't actually know. It's -7, but the fact is he moves really far away. So like if it's blocked, it's actually like insanely hard to punish. And that's true for the medium one as well, actually. But the medium one I think can situationally be whiff, can't it? Maybe not. That looks like pretty consistent. I think it's the medium one you can do really well. The light one hits low. I actually didn't know that. I always block it low anyway. You can super cancel all of them. I've been doing that periodically, like here and there in this video, but just for the record, that's his strongest cancel into super in Claw. And again, this whole special move is Claw only, so don't do it in Clawless. But it's really hard to punish, and it does pretty nice damage, and it is really good in his super combos. Because it gets its entire damage before the super hits. So that's like a really common combo in Claw to do. Like if you wanted to land a super, you'd do something like that. If you didn't want to use V-Trigger, or if you didn't have V-Trigger, that would be your go-to combo avenue. And then you've got stuff like, let's see here. something like that would also confirm into super. I guess I'll show that for the record. It's kind of a wacky cancel. But there you go. Just a little demonstration of a Clawless punish. That ends up doing pretty good damage. And again, that doesn't work on standing opponents because of the stand jab will whiff. I thought it comboed from lights. I mean, it does combo from lights, but it's just that in any situation where you're linking into the light, it doesn't work. So, like, that affects its utility a lot. The EX version, let's talk about the EX version last. The medium version combos from stand light punch, which I've been doing a whole lot. But that normal doesn't combo from crouching opponents. So you often find yourself not being able to use it. The light one, I don't know. It might be a good counter poke too. I feel like it is. The light one doesn't require the stand light punch, the standing opponent for the stand light punch, but it's usually, I don't know, it's usually out of range, whereas the medium punch one goes a lot further. And then you can juggle into the medium punch one. I kind of showed that off a little bit. Let's talk about the hard one, because actually the one I have the most to say about. The hard one, I think there's a context where you can hit it against a standing opponent. Or there was. I don't think there was anymore. There used to be you could do that on some characters, I think, but that was the beta, and that's probably hell out of date. If you've got a jumping opponent, this isn't upper body invincible at all, but it's really tall. So as long as you get it out in time, it's a super good anti-air. But it's not actually upper body invincible. So if you do it late, you're just going to get counter hit. There's like no invincibility anywhere on it. So you just got to get it out really fast. It only works by utility of how tall it is, but it's a super good anti-air. And notably, if you get an anti-air with it, it works from pretty close range, which is a really big deal because he isn't very good at anti-airing from close. But like here's a range where I wasn't anti-airing earlier, and you can, if you're early enough, if you're fast enough with the hard claw, you can actually get anti-airs like that. And more notably, if you get a close anti-air like that, you can actually juggle out of it. You can get like I think a medium and definitely an EX claw swipe from that. I think that works. I just did it at a timing that I thought looked good, so. No, I'm not so sure. It's not V skill you can combo out of it, right? Definitely EX. EX is the one I always see. I think you can get EX wall dive too. I'll try that in a second. I'll try it right now. There you go. So that would be your go-to follow-up because that's your strongest EX move. So I would say that's the one you're going to be following with like 90% of the time. I'm fairly certain you can do EX claw swipe. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I just don't remember. I don't want to show off EX Aureolus Edge, even though I'm 100% sure it works. Just because, there you go, there it is. Just because you would use EX wall dive in all the situations where you would use that. I really thought that worked. Maybe I'm doing it at the wrong time, or maybe it just has to be inhumanly close. Yeah, I would say EX wall dive is your go-to here. Oh, you can also do super, before I forget. You can cancel the super, I think, but you can definitely juggle the super, and juggling the super is better for reaction, so do that. But that's like a good little reaction confirm for super. I said that light roll could also be confirmed into super. This does a lot more damage when confirming into super, but again, the light roll can be used as an actual anti-air, and this has to be used hella preemptively. I mean, you can still do it on reaction to the opponent's jump, you just have to do it insanely fast, whereas the light roll, you can wait for them to fall a bit. But this works from closer. And that's notable. This is a good combo. Vega should do this a lot. Can you juggle V-skill? I'm actually super... I think you can. I mean, V-trigger. But I think you can juggle standing V-trigger too. There it is. And then you can juggle super after that. When are you going to be getting an anti-air into a cornered opponent, though? That's like such a specific situation. I mean, I agree that's kind of cool. I think you can get two. I think you can do two of the same attack. You can do two Aurora Edges or something. Maybe not. If it trades, maybe you can get medium, because that leaves you closer. It's kind of hard to trade with it, though, because you basically just have to get the just frame timing. Because it doesn't trade. I mean, it doesn't have invincibility. Whatever. It's a good anti-air, okay? And he's suffering for good anti-airs, so, like, use it like that. But again, you have to use it really, really fast, because it's not actually a good anti-air. The EX one is only -3, but I think it leaves you point blank, so the fact that it's -3 actually kind of sucks. Let's actually get a good idea of where it leaves you. Alright, that's not point blank at all. I was completely wrong. -3 at a range like this is totally safe from, like, everything. The only thing that even punishes -3 is 3-frame normals plus Zangief super, and neither of those are going to hit Vega from this range. So this move is effectively safe, albeit you can't immediately hit a button after you use it. Um, it goes really far, and it goes really far pretty fast. Like, it has really deceptively good range. It's actually one of his farthest range attacks. And it does pretty nice damage, and I guess it's effectively safe. But you still don't see Vegas use it that much because it is a bar on a guess. It's a bar on a I hope this works. It's not really something you can easily confirm. It's used frequently for his struggles, but even then, his struggles, oftentimes you can do this instead, and that does more damage. So you don't see Aurora spin edge that much. I seem to recall there was a scenario, I think it's gone now, where you could, if you got that on a grounded opponent, you could do that. Like, you just had to juggle between two of those. I think that was it. You used to be able to do a hard one on cornered opponents and then juggle into EX on, like, standing opponents, but they've removed that. I remembered some combo about that, but I haven't seen it in a long time, and I'm pretty sure it's literally the reason I haven't seen it is because it's gone. Alright, let's talk about Flying Barcelona attack. So this move is pretty wacky. Oh yeah, I should mention that. Well, I'll mention that when I'm talking about this, because that's when I was going to mention it anyway. This is a cool move. You've got DP plus kick and reverse DP plus kick based on which wall you want to move to. And then after that, you've got this weird kind of special jump where you've got a few follow-ups. He can't really use it to escape corners because it doesn't really take him... It's okay. Like, check this out. It's hard for opponents to keep catch of that, but that's me holding left. You can steer it midair. If I'm holding as far to the left as I can, I still can only go about half screen from Ryu. And you can't block as you're landing. So if Ryu could force me to land into a Hadoken, or like even walk up and sweep me or something like that. So it's not like you can just use it as a free corner escape. But it does help his mobility quite a lot. You can use it to kind of, to some degree, escape corners. If you're just using it neutral, I would say it's not that good, because a lot of characters can just do stuff to upset him from it. It's kind of hard for him to anti-air him when he's doing this, because oftentimes Ryu will be doing an anti-air, like DP, for example. If he does the anti-air DP and I, like, go over his head, the DP will whiff. So he has to do a DP at, like, a very, very specific time, like, where I've already definitively chosen a side that I'm going to land on. So, like, right. Let me try and pause on the frame. God, I'm doing it really early. It's like here. He's got a DP after this point. And if he's crouching and doing a crouching DP, then he'll get the autocorrect or not based on which side I landed on. So it'll be like, DP will be 100% reliable if you do it. I wish I could show the screen from this height. But the fact that Ryu has to do it that late to make DP a good answer makes it so it's pretty hard for him to actually use DP as an anti-air. But the problem is you don't need DP to anti-air this, because there are like a million different anti-airs, and I have to do different things as Vega in order to hit all of them. Like Ryu, I think, fairly reliably can just jump towards whichever wall that Vega jumped from and do jump medium punch. And if he does it nice and early, I shouldn't be able to get close enough to claw dive, or even to grab or anything. I'm pretty sure that'll just beat me. And then if he gets jump medium punch, he can always juggle into like EXDP or like back roundhouse or something like that. So it's not as good. It's not like you can really use it in raw like this. Maybe if it's meaty, you can use it in raw to some degree. And it is kind of good because he can land on both different sides, and it'll be a cross-up or not, and it's kind of hard to react to which one Vega's going to do. You can't really tell where it's going to land until like right at the end. So it is kind of hard to block if you're in a situation where it's guaranteed. I think it's pretty unsafe on block. It was in Street Fighter 4. Let's put him on all guard. I wish I could put him on guard then jump. That looked pretty safe. I don't know the actual minus frames on this. It looks like Vega recovers pretty fast. Yeah, I think it only has long recovery on whiff in this game. And then, anyway, you've got the punch follow-up, which I've been doing a whole lot of, and then you've also got another follow-up where if they're blocking, you can grab them, but the grab is kind of hard to get. You've got to land pretty much precisely on them, and it's kind of a precise timing as well. There it is. Safe as houses now. Thank you. Good information. I take it all back. Clawless is even safer. Yeah, I knew Clawless was plus. I guess they're both plus. So if you're looking to block, and I'm pretty sure these are overheads too, right? Fairly certain these are overheads. Yeah, mid. So you can't just low block to get out of it, albeit if you low block, it makes you a little bit harder to hit with the claw. Like certain Vegas tend to hit buttons really high to preempt anti-airs. So you might be able to crouch your way out, but it's a really bad idea. Generally, you want to stand for this. But if you're crouching, the grab follow-up becomes a lot harder to get, albeit still possible, which I just got. Your best hope is anti-airing Vega. You really don't want to be in this scenario where he can do one of these three. Land on either side or throw. The throw is a little bit more unsafe to do than the claw slashes. It does a little bit more damage. And also has, like, you know, catches people who are just trying to block their way out. Go for the grab or go home. On hit, the punch follow-up knocks down. And from that, that's actually a juggle state. So you can do, I think, that works. And then you can also do this. And I think you can actually do that. No, you can't do that. That one doesn't work. Can you do that? No, maybe. I usually see EX Ace. That's like the most common ender I see. But you can also do V-Trigger if the situation, if it pleases you. And V-Trigger is really nice because, you know, you get the super afterwards if you want to. From a left-right 50-50, that's quite a lot of damage. That's like 500 damage from a left-right 50-50. But it's not really a 50-50, or rather, like, the opponent can do other stuff to prevent you from landing on either side. He can anti-air you. There are a lot of character. Pretty much, there's only character-specific ways out of this. Karine can do EX Rasenha, but it sucks if it whiffs. If Vega like goes over her head when she's doing it. Karine can like kind of command dash out of it. Karine can do like I think Stand Fierce is okay because it's like above her head. I think that'll usually hit Vega out of it. I don't know what Karine does for the most part. Every character has different. Karine can like meet in midair with like a jump medium punch or a jump hard punch or something like that. Jump hard kick, I guess. I don't know. You really want an air normal that goes over your head, which not a lot of characters have like a really good one. Vegas would be an example of a really good one. But meeting in midair is a decent thing. Bison could just super, but Vega could just not land on him. There's a lot of, and same with Rashid. I remember playing Rashid in beta, and I would just super when Vega players were doing this to me. I would just super, and it would actually like Rashid's super is actually as tall as it looks. So I would be like this high up. The Vega player would be this high up, and I would super, and it would still hit him. It's kind of funny. But there are a lot of characters where Vega doesn't do this at all, and to be honest, most Vega players don't really do this unless they're like cornered, and even then they don't really usually do it. The EX one is a really interesting one. I've been doing a whole lot of. I think he grabs the wall at different heights based on which version you do. Yeah, he'll like the hard one will grab the wall at a higher location, and the light one will grab the wall at a lower location. A lot of people don't even realize there's version differences with this special move, which is understandable because they all end up functioning almost exactly the same. The EX one's super neat because it actually is a hit on the way up that I've been showing off a whole lot. You can juggle, and the punch follow-up from here is pretty good damage, and also no matter the height where you connect it, you can still juggle a V trigger. So that ends up doing pretty good damage. And that, well, you can't really land a super from that because you're coming from an EX move, but that still like that's really good free damage that you can just tack on. And then you've also got the grab follow-up that juggles from it, and that does more damage if you don't have the V trigger. But the punch follow-up also has like a nice little low-key scenario. You see Vega players do that a lot. You see them do this, and then you see them do like a roll as they land, stuff like that, and then they get some kind of sneaky oki. Is it medium? I don't know. There's like shenanigans with that. What else? It's used a lot in its juggles because you can usually juggle into it, and when you can juggle into it, it's usually the highest damage juggle you have. It does substantially more damage than his meterless stuff. So, like for example, if I was doing like that would be like a nice little combo in Clawed like from light normals. But EX wall dive combos from light normals, and that was 201 as opposed to like what 170? I mean 130. So I'm adding like 60, 70 damage from that one EX bar, and that was like a reasonably optimized combo. If I was doing this, that my max damage is this 111. Okay, that's nothing. I'm doing crouching DPs to get that out, by the way. That's 191. I'm adding 80 damage from my low damage from my low confirm just by spending that bar. That's a pretty good bar to spend. Okay, that's like 80 damage from one bar is nice conversion. And also it knocks down. So like that's like a really nice thing to just get out. So I would say it's really good as Vega to end a lot of his combos in EX wall dive. And I would also say that if you have the meter, if you have the V trigger to spend, V trigger is not a bad ender for the EX wall dive. to do like, let's actually get a damage comparison so we know what we're adding. Let's take the same setup. So what was that? Like 190, 191? Alright, we got 191 for the grab ender. And then for the punch plus V-trigger, we have 248. So that's not a whole lot, considering you're spending a V-trigger. But that's like 50 damage, and that 50 damage can matter. I would say V-trigger is more useful somewhere else, but it's important to know that you can just land that anytime you can land the X-Claw swipe. So, you know, situationally, that'll be really good. I think that's his highest damage V-trigger, the standing one. 170. It might do more if you do the low one. Also 170. 200. I don't think you can get that. Pretty sure you can't get that. But it'd be really cool if you could. Oh, that would be really cool. I can't seem to get it. Ooh, I only got one hit. I think I remember testing this a while ago, and I don't remember what I found, but I remember testing it. Ah, damn it, the height requirement is so fucking stringent. That was just a bad... Why can I not seem to... Is it like... Oh, I got it. Damn it, it didn't even work. That was like the lowest I can do it, I think. But I might be able to... If I did it on that low of a jump while also juggling Ryu as high as you can possibly juggle him, it might work. I don't think so. I've never seen anyone go for that combo. It'd be kind of cool if there was some scenario where you could land it, but I just can't think of a time I've ever seen it. Whatever. Normal or... The normal one or the up one. But the normal one's the best one to go for because that's the one you can convert into super. Might be doable as HP Aurora. Yeah. Yeah, one of those. Anti-air, crush counter, hard kick. Let's give it a go, just to try. Oh shit, I was way early. I was trying to be a hero. Aw, damn it. That looked good too. There it was. Woo! You'll never see that. No one will ever do that. I got completely distracted from what we were supposed to be testing. I mean, we were supposed to be testing that, but I got completely distracted on... Basically, end combos and EX wall dive. And, oh yeah, EX wall dive, it's got better juggle state when you land it. Claw Vega. If you're using it, like, raw on a standing opponent, like if they block it and then you have to come down, the claw swipe is bigger, and it has another hit, and it does a lot more damage. And I think you have the same follow-ups. You might have better follow-ups. That still works, and that ends up doing pretty nice damage. I guess I'll try an EX wall dive after that just to see if it works. That was not an EX wall dive. Nope, still no EX wall dive. And you can't do a super there either. You can still do V-trigger. That's not super notable. And then I think the grab box becomes huge. So you should pretty much... The grab becomes amazing when you're in EX. That's the one. That's the main thing. That's the main change between the normal and the EX one. Is the grab box becomes really easy to land the grab even on a crouching opponent. I'm doing it really early trying to find the limits of it. I would say the grab becomes amazing. Oh yeah. If you're cornered, EX flying Barcelona to almost instant claw. Like that. Or do you mean off the other wall? That actually looks like a really, really tricky cross-up or non-cross-up. That looks like fucking impossible to react to. I'm like deliberately getting... Wow, you could probably combo to that. I'm deliberately holding towards the corner trying to see, like... Trying to find the limits of how sneaky you can make this cross-up. That was more kind of obvious. And that was kind of tricky. Whatever. Now let's talk about fucking something actually useful. This move basically completely changes in claw off mode. It's not completely changed. It's just it doesn't knock down anymore, which might seem annoying, but it's actually really good because it still has very low recovery, which means you can basically link out of it. And a common follow-up might be something like that. That would be, I would say that's the one I see the most often, is stand jab into low strong. That lets you react to which side you're on in case you're not really sure either. And it also, like, does pretty nice damage. The jab doesn't really lose any damage there. See, that was a side I wasn't expecting to cross up. So the two little hits on that link let you confirm. And then the stand jab is 3 frames, which also makes it really consistent to get a link. I don't think... damn, it is one of those, isn't it? Doesn't work on crouching opponents. So maybe you've got to do something like 2 crouch jabs, and then just confirm light roll. That might be what you have to do to be 100% consistent. That's unfortunate. I don't know why I did that. It's completely wrong. Anyway, you've got slightly better follow-ups in Clawless, and things get really insane with EX Clawless, because EX Clawless actually has a fuck ton of hit stun if you hit it like that. Stay medium kick. Is that it? Crouch medium kick. That actually sounds really good. I wouldn't think stay medium kick. Alright, you have more time than I realized here. I thought that only worked on EX. Something like that. I didn't really know what to do. I guess V-skill would be good there. That would be an example of a pretty nice little confirm. Is that crouching opponents, standing opponents only? I think it is. It is. Always with this stuff, you can react with that combo. You can just react if they're standing or crouching during the crouch medium kick. But if you wanted something where you didn't have to react at all, you could do something like that. That would need to go into EX. Damn, Claw. Anyway, if you do EX, the grab works pretty much exactly the same way in both, and the hit on the way up works pretty much exactly the same way in both, and all of his combos on hit work pretty much exactly the same way in both. But if you get the EX Claw Dive, this is where things get insane, because that hits really, really, it has a lot of block stun, hit stun, both. So if you get both hits of that, you can actually combo some pretty beefy stuff. Like, for example, I think Stand Hard Punch works. The timing on this window. There you go. That hurts a lot. That's a pretty good damage. That's like, I mean, that's meterless besides the initial bar that you spend to do the EX wall dive. I wouldn't recommend, this is more something you do, like if you dropped an EX wall dive or you're using the EX wall dive to like escape a corner or something like that. This is more something you like salvage. I wouldn't say just go for EX wall dives trying to land on the opponent with like punch follow-ups and stuff like that. That's not really a good use of EX bar, to just pray that it works. But if you happen to find yourself using an EX wall dive for other reasons, and for some reason it whiffs, or like if you're using it to get out of the corner or surprise your opponent or something like that, the EX one has really nice follow-ups if you hit it like kind of high like that, and it can still hit on either side. Anyway, that hurts a lot. I've been talking a lot about EX Claw Dive, but I actually like don't really like it used in footsies at all, because a lot of characters can just anti-air it. But I thought I'd show off at least the attacks you can do from it and stuff like that. Let's talk about Claw Edge, or Claw Switch, because I have a lot to say about that. Wall dive in general is a pretty bad idea. That's what I really wanted to say, but I've been fooling around with it a lot, but it's generally bad in footsies, just a Claw Dive. Claw Switch, I'm doing it a lot. It lets you freely enter the 2 modes. It's pretty self-explanatory the way I've been using it like that. You can do it mid-combo, but it's really minus on block if you're using it like in block strings and whatnot. Not really, but it's like it's never plus on block strings, even if you do it from his most plus frame normals. But I've been showing off the 2 main combo options there are, pretty much like the whole video. But like stuff like that, or like stuff like that, or like stuff like that are really common. But this is where things get really insane. I've got to get Ryu to beat me up a little bit. I guess I can do it like this, right? If you're blocking, you can get... If you're taking any damage, I think, if you're blocking or like getting hit, eventually the claw's gonna fly off. I think it flies off faster if you're blocking. I don't remember. It might be the mask. I don't remember how the claw and the fucking mask work. One of them flies off faster if you're blocking, the other one flies off faster if you're getting hit. If the mask gets knocked off, he takes more damage. In Street Fighter 4, he also dealt more damage. I don't remember if that's true in this game, but he definitely takes more damage if the mask is knocked off, so do what you can to not get the mask knocked off, but you can't really prevent it because you're probably already trying to avoid taking damage, so whatever. But if the claw gets knocked off, it's actually this really interesting scenario, because it's not like he can't do the claw switch anymore. He actually can still do it. It's just that you're transitioning between Clawless and Clawless. But the thing about that is that you've now permanently lost access to his towards Fierce. and you've now permanently lost access to his Fierce Fierce Tower combo and like his some of his better normals in Claw, like Stand Strong, Stand Strong. But there's some super neat stuff that you get in return. Like for example, normally you don't have access to Clawless, like into Clawless. Like normally that's something you can't do. Clawless is the more combo friendly. I really want to show off. Like what were we doing in Clawless? If you went into Claw, you would do send Light Punch into medium Aurora's Edge. Okay. That was like your ender, and that would do, I don't remember how much, like let's say like 180 some, right? Somewhere around there. 190 some. It was like right around that number, right? 190 some. But now I'm Clawless. I can do, I think that's the combo. No, I've got to just go straight into Crouch Medium Punch. There you go. Now I'm doing 224, okay? So the fact that I'm going from Clawless into Clawless actually means that I always have my max damage enders, and I always have, like, even if I'm already in the stance where I would be going into my low damage enders, I always have access to my max damage enders. And there's a few other scenarios where that's super useful. But basically, you're in this kind of weird scenario where a lot of your combos are, what's the combo here? Is it? I don't remember quite how it works. Maybe it's this. No, that's not it. There's some scenario where you can do something like that. And then into that. But I can't remember it. I guess you can go into like this. Kind of hit stun hard punch. That's too slow. What is it? Oh, I can't quite remember it. There's like some really crazy combo. Hold on, I have like the Vega bread and butter thing I put together, like somewhere in here. Where was it? I don't actually remember. Sometimes he has better combos in Claw, and sometimes he has better damage and better combos in Clawless, but you basically always have the best of both worlds when you have the Claw knocked off. There's a lot of stuff where, like, you can only do it if you've got the Claw off, or a lot of stuff where you can only do it when you've got the Claw on, but you can do both of those if you're Clawless. I can't think of the really good example, but there's definitely a really good example. You're basically stronger in the Claw mode because you can go into the Clawless mode, so you've got the better starters into the better enders. And the problem is that leaves you in Clawless mode, and then you've got to get back into Clawed mode to still have those good combos. And the thing about like having your Claw knocked off is that you're always going into the mode with the better enders, and you don't need to find a way back into the mode that gets you into the better enders because you're just going into the better enders anyway. It's hard to describe. And I don't have it written down here, even though I mean, I do have it written down here, but it's just going to take a lot of digging. It is worth noting that he has slightly lower damage on certain hits when he doesn't have the Claw. I kind of mentioned that, but kind of didn't. I still got kind of hit on. Well, I just turned it on, didn't I? Let's get the Claw back. I didn't talk about this at all. I did not talk about this at all. But he's got a command grab. This is his other special move. This is the special move I should have mentioned sooner. He doesn't have it when he's got the Claw on. It's just replaced by this thing. Or not replaced. Well, I guess it is replaced. They're basically two different special moves with two radically different functions. He's got one special move that he only has access to with Claw, and one special move he only has access to without. It's pretty much the worst command grab in the game. I would think that's pretty fair. The damage is not too hot. It's like not bad. What are we at? 150. No, that's like the lowest damage of any command grab, isn't it? The whiff recovery is really long. So you can neutral jump this and get a full combo or something like that. It's pretty bad. The range is pretty mediocre. It was right around the max, I think. That was the light version, which has, I think, the most range. No, that's pretty bad, isn't it? Yeah. There it is. That's like the max range right there. The last one I did. Right around there. Anyway, it has pretty abysmal range, pretty low damage. It's pretty slow, if I recall correctly. Grand is Uno drop. Is that this? Is this that? if this is Grander's inner drop, then it's 6 frames, which is not that slow. That's the same speed as Laura's command grab. It's slower than other command grabs, but I think that might be faster than the Kali's. It's slower than SPD's anyway, except Laura's. Oh yeah, I guess Mika's other command grab technically might do lower damage than this. I don't know. That's like, I feel like Mika's does right around the same damage this does. 130, 140, 150 across the 3 versions. Well, maybe it is weaker. Yeah, this does like right around the same damage as Vega's normal throw, doesn't it? Vega's normal throw is like 130, 140. So the hard one does a smidge more damage than his normal throw, and the light one does less. It does have a little bit more range than his normal throw. There are ranges where you can get the command grab and not the normal throw, and those are the ranges where this is best. But the main reason you would use this is that it's untechable. You can't tech this throw. So like a block string into this will catch people doing just defensive techs, like block into delayed tech or stuff like that. And it forces the opponent, if they want to punish it, to like jump or something like that. And the thing about the opponent jumping during block strings is going to make them really vulnerable to just Vega block strings. The thing about opponents jumping while under pressure is going to make them eat random hits while they're trying to escape. So it's a pretty mediocre command grab, but the fact that he has a command grab at all is really strong. And that's one of the main reasons that Vega players tend to like playing in Clawless, is they like having access to this command grab. Even if it's really unsafe. I mean, yeah, even if it's really unsafe to go for it, it forces the opponent to treat Vega like it exists. And if the opponent's playing in regards to you having a command grab, that's good for you. Bonk. What are some other things about it? The EX1 has better range. I think it's actually like respectable range for the EX1. And the EX1 also has somewhat respectable damage at 180. That's about normal for a command grab and pretty abysmal for an EX command grab. But that's still like a lot better than his normal version. I don't know. You're getting a 30 damage increase off of his hard one, which is not a significant change. But 50 damage increases off his light one, which light one is probably the one you're usually going to be using because it's the best range, and EX has the better range than the light one, so, or like at least as good. So I would say the EX one is like clearly the best one, but it better be because it's EX. Vega having a command grab is good, but it's the worst command grab. That's all I really have to say about this. Oh yeah, and you can sneak it in a lot of places, like after jump ins. It's very easy to sneak in. I was too early on block. That probably would have been about the right time. This will beat like reversal jabs and stuff like that if you time it right. You can do it like meaty. You can do it after like plus frame attacks. Throws beat attacks if they land on the same frame. So if I do like, let's say a +3 attack like this, and then I do command grab, even if they do a reversal 3-frame normal, my command grab will hit them before their reversal 3-frame normal. That's provided they block it. That's actually kind of an awkward normal to use because let's say crouch jab. Crouch jab is a better example. That's like if they block it, it's a 4-frame window to hit a button, and if they have a 4-frame normal, my grab will beat their 4-frame normal. And on hit, it's like there's no way to beat it at all except using an invincible move or jumping out. So like crouch jab into command grab is a super good setup, but the range isn't very good. So like let's say after like crouch short crouch jab, I'm way out of range for a command grab, even for EX. So you've got to sneak it in really early. So basically, like once Vega gets you to block 2 things, you're out of the threat range of that. Oh, and opponents trying to jump out, like neutral jump out of command grabs or something like that. You can also like hit them maybe out of the air, like air throw them or something like that. If you walk in for a normal throw. A single one of these will get the opponent really afraid of them. And then they play like jumping out, where crouch medium kick and stuff like that confirms will help a lot in getting free damage. And if they're playing like he doesn't have the command grab, if they're not trying to hold up or anything like that, not trying to backdash, then the ability to, you're basically guaranteed to get one of these off next time you like get some pressure on them. It's kind of hard to describe how to use a command grab, but Vega has a command grab now. Oh, his jump punches change a little bit. They all have pretty much exactly the same angle. I like forgot to ever mention that. I don't know if there's any practical functional difference between them. I think they even have the same damage and everything. They might just have less range, or they might even just be identical. But they do technically change. They are slightly faster. I just looked at the frame data. Or rather, jump like punch and jump medium punch come out 1 frame sooner when you don't have claw. Sneaky, sneaky. That's kind of gimmicky because the opponent can hit a button and then just interrupt that. That's pretty much all his special moves. And all his unique attacks and all his normals. Let's talk about his V-skill. Oh, we got to confirm on priority on hand. Cool, thanks. Vega has disjointed hitboxes on his claw. Let's get Ryu to throw a fireball. I think I have a fireball somewhere in here. Is that a fireball? Yeah, there we go. I think the range is a little smidge better if you have the claw on versus off. But Vega's V-skill dodges... It's got like a little invincibility window. And that invincibility actually applies to everything. It's not just for fireballs. And you can just pivot with it, which is fine. The pivot's okay. It dodges fireballs from far away, and it's not very risky, so you can just use it to dodge chip. There's like no downside to this, unless the opponent like has a really slow fireball and they can jump in. So don't do it against like Chun-Li fireballs coming in or like Nash fireballs. Do it against fast fireballs, not slow fireballs, basically. But it is really easy to just dodge a fireball with it. And then if you're kind of close, you can actually hit the opponent with the full follow-up. And it's really easy to do that on reaction to a fireball setup, because it's only 2 buttons. So it's probably his best... Yeah, I'll mention that now that I'm talking about fireballs. This is probably his best answer to fireballs, just in terms of like the range at which it works and the situations where you'd use it. I would say this is like, you know, his it's not very safe on block. It's minus 13. It builds V-meter if you actually get it. I don't think the pivot builds V-meter, so don't go whiffing it like crazy trying to build V-meter like that. I think you have to either have this swing be blocked or hit in order to actually build a V-meter. And he's got 2 target combos that land it. The punch one and the medium punch hard kick one and the hard punch one both go into V-skill, so that's another good way to land it. It's mostly just used for dodging fireballs. Is online useless in fighting games? No. Online is a good place to fight people who are better than you if you don't know any in person. The range is pretty good. I got a confirmation that the pivot does not build V-meter. I'm doing it really early. You can do it late. Like, I have Ryu set to block as soon as he recovers from his fireball, so this is a true punish. And it'll punish even characters like Chun-Li and stuff. But it's kind of hard because the easiest time to use it is when the fireball's pretty close to you, and like if it's a slow fireball, it's harder to use. Vega struggles more against slow fireballs, but really who doesn't in this game? And then other fireball answers. He's got like a few. They're all EX moves. I think EX roll is super good against fireballs. It's just fireball invincible for pretty much the whole animation. But it's not very fast, so you have to use it kind of predictably. But that's okay because it's safe. But from certain ranges, like that range where I just used it right now, I just reaction punished a fireball. Oh fuck. Like from like here and closer, you can just use it on reaction to a fireball and just get a punish. And it does pretty nice damage when you punish with it, so that ends up being pretty good. I think I lost a hit there. But like from here or further, I can't use it at all. And from here and further, I can't use the V-skill either, so like I don't answer fireballs that well from this far away. But from this far away, I can just neutral jump them or just like block them, or like they're not really threatening from this far away anyway, so it's not a huge deal. But EX roll is a good response to fireballs if you've got a good reaction time. And then I think EX clutch? I don't remember. I feel like he has at least one other EX move that's good against fireballs. Not that one. That didn't feel good against fireballs at all. No, not at all. What was the other one? EX wall dive? No, that doesn't sound right. That doesn't sound right. I'll try it anyway. No, that didn't feel good at all. I don't know. He might have some other fireball answer. Someone help me in chat. I feel like there's 3 things. I feel like it's 2 EX moves and a V-skill. Super! I think that was it. It was super. Oh shit, no, that was it. Alright, that's it. You have to hit the fireball with the EX Aurora Spin Edge. That's not super good. Yeah, good luck ever using that on an opponent. That's like impractical as fuck. But it was super. It was definitely super. Super punishes fireballs really well. Like a lot better than people expect. It's there you go. It's kind of close. Like you have to be pretty close. But it depends on the fireball, because like certain characters get hit farther or closer. Like that was pretty far. That was like 3/4 screen. Fuck, what's going on? I'm not getting a straightforward. I blame the controller. It depends on the character. Ryu is really easy to hit in this scenario. Ryu's got a fireball with a really big hurt box. Chun-Li or Nash have fireballs with smaller hurt boxes. But because they have slower fireballs, you can do it from closer on reaction. But this is like a really good response to fireballs. It's pretty easy to hit someone on the way up with this. You don't have to react super fast. I would say this is probably his best answer to fireballs, which is unsurprising because it's a super you're paying for it. I can't believe I couldn't remember that until right now. That should have been the obvious one, too. Fuck. I guess I could talk about his super. I've pretty much said everything I want to say about his B skill. You can do it in some juggles. You can use it to pivot around fireballs. You can use it to punish fireballs. It's a poke. I should have mentioned that sooner. Especially if you're in the claw mode. Let's get a raw comparison here. Yeah, slightly further with the claw on. It technically has the most range of any attack he has, besides towards Fierce. And from max range, even though it's like minus 13 or whatever, from max range, pretty much no character can punish this. So, it's a pretty good poke, but the startup is kind of long. But the startup being long is not that bad because it has invincibility on the startup. So, I think it just has like full invincibility, except on I think the feet. So to some degree, I remember this worked a lot in the beta, and I think they probably nerfed it a bit. But you could use it to like dodge anti-airs. That looks really bad. That's got like a lot of startup, or a lot of recovery rather. Yeah, I don't know about that. That looks gimmicky as fuck. Don't do that. Don't learn what I just did. But just showing off that it has quite a lot of invincibility. You could maybe do like... Oh, that looks like it anti-aired. Maybe. Maybe. I don't know. It stops having invincibility once he starts doing the claw swing. That's like right on the edge. Right on the edge of being useful. I reset the block as soon as he lands, so if it ever actually hits him like it did that first time, then it actually is a punish. But if he empty jumped, he would have been able to block it, I think. That was just a clean anti-air. Yeah, that's I don't know. Use your other anti-airs, but that looks like it does work. I wrote it down in here. I like put it down in his anti-airs. Crouch hard punch, stand hard kick, air throw, V skill. I put down, I like don't even remember writing this because it was so long ago. Maybe better against some jumpers than others. The invincibility is easy to use, but they might land and block before you connect depending on the timing. That's what I wrote based on my initial notes. You can fool around with that if you want to. Mostly this can be used as a poke and as an anti-fireball, which is probably how they intended to use it. And every time you land it, you get V-meter, so ending in those, even though it's not damage optimal, is still pretty good to go for. Let's talk about super, I guess. No. V-trigger. I should have talked about super sooner. Let's talk about super, then V-trigger, then we're done. Let's talk about V-trigger, then super. V-trigger bleeds into super because V-trigger, one of its main uses is that it combos into super. V-trigger is not an activation for Vega. I've been using it a whole lot. He throws a rose at you. There's actually 3 different versions. There's one where he throws the rose straight at you. This one has the best range. There's one where he throws the rose up. It can be used as an anti-air, but to be honest, it has the same problem that every single... I'll talk about V-reversal as well, because this is actually really unique, so I should mention it. This looks like it would be a really sick anti-air, but it has the same problem every one of his anti-airs has, which is that it only works from really close. I mean, from really far away. Like, I just failed because of how close it was, even though I was, like, ridiculously far away. I lost a hit. You can juggle into it pretty easily, but, like, up close, it's just very mediocre. The rose has to hit the opponent, and he throws the rose from very far forward. So, like, even from this far away, like, that's never gonna hit. It's, like, really bad. It can be used in his juggles, but the straight one has pretty much identical juggles, and also is a lot, how do you say? It's a lot safer. I don't actually... 2 of the V skills are safe, and one of them is mad unsafe. I'm pretty sure this is the mad unsafe one. That didn't even hit Ryu. I can't believe that. Let me get him blocking. Does this just not hit? One of these is like minus quite a lot. Ryu might be able to... It might be this one. You might be able to sweep that. Let me see if it's listed in his frame data here. Rojo. is the unsafe one. Is that pronounced Rojo? I'm not Spanish. Alright, that's the crouching one that's unsafe. So you're fucked. Don't use this one. This one's bad. Pretty much fully outclassed by the straight one. I'm just going to say it. Ground and air safe, they're both -2. Okay, confirmed. So the straight one, it's a projectile, so it technically goes the length of the screen. If the rose hits, Vega will do the follow-up. If the rose doesn't hit for some reason, then Vega will not do the follow-up. It's -2 on block, so it leaves you pretty much point blank, pretty close. It depends on the context of the hit. It's this one that leaves you point blank, isn't it? Yeah. No, they all go through. It's point blank in corners. That's it. I got it. I remembered. And it doesn't... A lot of people... Because he moves through you when you do it, a lot of people treat it like he always moves through you, but on a cornered opponent, he doesn't move through you. So that can kind of be used to sneak people to some degree. Never do that one. That would probably catch people off guard. That being said, it's only -2, so it's pretty much safe unless you're fighting a Zangief and he does reversal super and he's cornered when you use it. That's like the only possible scenario where you can be punished for using it. It's kind of good. It's like the opponent can't trade with the fireball, they can't trade with the rose. So you're not really risking anything from using it, but like that's a big waste of V-trigger. So you mostly be using it as juggles. And the juggles I've been showing off. You can use it for any punch claw dive. Let me stop Ryu from blocking. You can use it in any punch claw dive. You can juggle it. You can use it in pretty much all of his crush counter, like anti-air crush counter kind of stuff. You can use it after his punch follow-up for his claw. You can use it after... Oh yeah, you can corner escape with it. I kind of didn't show that, but that corner escapes. Like even if they block it, it's 100% safe and it gets the other corner. And you can just do it from any normal. You can literally cancel pretty much every normal he has into it, except the overhead, I think. That's like the only one. Like literally every other normal cancels into it. Like everything. Like, fuck. Like everything. It's kind of weird because you often want to go into the standing one because the standing one has a juggle follow-up, which pretty much only works into super. I'm pretty sure it only works into super. There's no pretty much about it. The standing one has a juggle follow-up, and that's the only one with a follow-up. So if you're doing, like let's say, if you're doing a combo like this, for example, I'm going to go into low strong, and I have to do the standing, V skill, V trigger. So it's kind of important to like practice that to make sure you're not holding down during your cancels into V trigger, or else you'll get the useless one. But like that would be an example of a combo that confirms into V trigger into super like that. You got better ones there, but that's just an example of one. It's mostly just useful in confirms, and any time where you land it, and you can land it pretty much anywhere. You can land it in almost every single like connect he has. I think that one might not work either. Yeah, the overhead and the second punch of the hard punch target combo are like the only things you can't use it. What V skill? No, a lot of characters can do V skill into V trigger. Oh nope, that works. So theoretically, if you hit a fireball with V skill. I've never seen anyone mention that that works or like show it off or anything. I might make a little video about that at the same time and just like show off that it exists for the people who aren't going to be watching this, who like, because there's a good chance that most Vega players don't know that works. That's kind of an interesting little thing. Most V skills can be cancelled to V trigger. Almost every V skill that has a hit can be cancelled to V trigger. So I'm not terribly surprised, but that's still kind of cool. I've never thought about this one. That seems to work at pretty much max range, so that's actually kind of nice. Very interesting, very interesting. Sexy tech if you buffer it. Yeah, I agree. Now what? I feel like there might be some setups that I'm forgetting where you can land V-trigger, but pretty much it works off of any normal, so any sort of confirm you can go for. That was an example of, that's a pretty good one. The low strong, you can't normally cancel anything from low strong. That's like the one thing that does cancel from it. And any time where you land it, you can juggle super if you have super. And the only context where you can't do that is if you use an EX move in order to land it. So it's important to consider those. But if you can land the V-trigger, you can land the super, and V-trigger plus super ends up doing a fuck ton of damage in most of Vega's combos. Any normal, also the EX up BA. Let's see, let's like imagine a combo right now. Um, something like that, and then maybe jab, jab, strong. This is gonna be weird. Pew pew. That works in all positions on the screen too. It's not like it doesn't work on certain screen positions. I said almost 500 damage from a jump in. That's okay. Crouch, light kick, V trigger. There you go. That's a nice combo. Fuck. Kind of precise though. Look at that. 2 lows. Combo all this damage. That's not bad, that's not bad. Vega's V-trigger is basically, I want to get super from anything and you can't stop me. Well put. I don't have that much to say about the super. I've pretty much said everything I want to say about it. It does do a little bit more damage with the claw compared to not the claw. It goes pretty far, but it tends to whiff on crouching opponents from really far away. Or even, it tends to whiff in general from really, really far away. That's like right about the max range where it doesn't hit at all. If you're like here, I think it hits. It's pretty fast, and it doesn't have the super freeze until after, so you can use it kind of in footsies better than you can use most supers in footsies. But that being said, it has like no invincibility, except against fireballs. So you can't really anti-air with it at all. You can't really use it as a reversal or anything like that. Vega doesn't really have a reversal in any sense. So it's not... Vega's like got the worst reversal options of like any character. It's not that good. Oh, it can whiff against characters in the corner. That's true. The super is just kind of picky, but if you do like setups into it, it's good. And you can cancel into it from any hit of roll, except the last hit. You can cancel into it from this thing. You can juggle into it from punch follow-ups of Claw Dive, or link into it from punch follow-ups of Claw Dive if you've got no claw. You can cancel into it from just his special moves if you want to. I mean, like usually you wouldn't, but you can. Just, you know, for the record. Like that. You can land it from any V-trigger, and you can use it. Oh, dude, I haven't talked about V-reversal. I'm pretty much done with super. There's nothing else to say about super. I should have mentioned this sooner, but Air Rose, I didn't mention it at all. It technically does the most damage of all his 3 V-triggers. It doesn't lead to super or anything. Only the normal one goes to super. It has one really big use, and pretty much it's useless apart from that, for the best that I can tell. And that really big use is that it's a really good answer to fireballs. If you just jump forward and do a V-trigger like as soon as you can after the forward jump, he's fully invincible to fireballs during the entire air V-trigger. But you can only do it on forward jumps, and it does have a height restriction, so you've got to be kind of fast. But it's like, it works as a punish to fireballs from really close or really far away, which makes it like pretty useful. But because you have no follow-ups from it, it's basically just like a 200 damage fireball punish. That's nice. That's like situationally pretty good. But usually you can do other stuff. Yeah, it's only air V-trigger. Super input changes with and without claw. What do you mean? That doesn't sound right at all. Down forward punch, right? Is there something I'm missing? Or is it like an issue of input leniency? I see that combo a decent amount. Vega players like that. More like that. I see that a lot too. I like a little bow. Vega's classy. I'm glad they included him in the initial roster. Oh shit. Let's get that claw on. Use this from further away. Oh fuck, what was I doing? V-trigger then super. Oh fuck. I'm trying to find the max range of this. I freaked out and did like crazy motions. That's pretty cool. That's a pretty cool little fireball punish right there. I don't feel like a lot of people hate Vega. I feel like a lot of people don't care about Vega. I feel like it's more accurate. Alright, let's talk about the V-reversal, because the V-reversal is a very interesting and neat little thing. Ryu is not the best character to show off, and I probably will put that video of like other people analyzing the various things Vega can do with this. But just for the record, let's get him to throw a fireball at me. Vega has 2 different V-reversals, and they're towards plus punches and towards plus kicks, and the only difference is the duration in which he does them. The punch one moves you really far away, and the kick one moves you a little far away. They both move backwards. I think all the other teleporting V reversals move you forwards, like Fungs and Rashids and Nashes. So this is the only one that doesn't escape corners. But it's really good for other reasons. Teleporting V reversals are just inherently kind of useful. I'll try and find a good example right now. In fact, I guess I'll just do the one I think